I hope you enjoyed that video of our office. A couple things I just wanted to mention, a few housekeeping things. One, we're going to leave the silent auction open till 8:45. I do hope you'll get a chance to take a look at the items that we have out there. And secondly, while we're not able to ask the elected officials to come up and speak, I do want to take a few seconds to please recognize them and ask them to stand up. So everyone, please give a round of our applause to our public officials who have taken the time and effort to join us today. Thank you so much. There were others here earlier, and we saw them and appreciate them as well. When we first started planning this momentous occasion about 18 months ago, I had one request, or maybe I should say one demand. And that was that we would finalize the date only after confirming that Imam Siraj Wahhaj would attend. I mean, come on. Imam Siraj, what's going on here? So, hold on. Take it easy. We got an intro here. He has been a key part of the CAIR-SFBA area family for numerous years. He has also been with a number of other offices. We have 28 offices in the United States. Imam Siraj has been to 26 of them. You're slacking. When are you going to get to Phoenix and, Pittsburgh? So he's been to more of them and supported more of them than all of us. He is certainly an honorary CAIR member. And it really wouldn't be right to have today's banquet without him. So once again, a warm applause to our dear friend, Imam Siraj Wahhaj.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters, you cannot imagine how honored I am tonight to be here for two celebrations. Number one, the very reason that we're here tonight to celebrate 20 years of great work of CAIR in this area. And number two, I want to remind you how important history is. Malcolm spoke so often about the importance of history. We also celebrate 50 years of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You cannot imagine how significant that is. What I'd like to do today is share with you why I make contributions to CAIR, why I go all over the country supporting CAIR. We wanted to raise tonight some $250,000. In a few moments, I think that we will. But I want to, as always, be the first to donate. CAIR deserves so much more than I am able to give them. It is a very small contribution of $1,000. I just wanted to be the first one and then tell you why I support CAIR. CAIR is so much bigger than we imagine. I think that every one of you tonight, those who support CAIR, I think you believe in the vision and the mission of CAIR. But honestly, I don't think most of us are really aware how important CAIR is. I remember 1400 years ago, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, told his wife Aisha, he said, Ya Aisha, Hadha Jibril, Yaqru'u alayki salam. Oh Aisha, here is the angel Jibril, he gives to you salams. She said, alayhi salat, she said, Ikra alayki salam, alayhi salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, peace and blessing be upon him, Tara mala ara. You see what I don't see. I say this to every one of you here tonight, and I say it with humility. If you cannot see the vision, if you can't see the angel, if you cannot see the vision, then trust the visionary. CAIR was so far ahead of the Muslims in this country when Muslims were thinking about whether voting was allowed or permissible. CAIR was there already years ago with vision and giving the guidance to the community. I say this to you, how important CAIR is. Conventional wisdom is that most trials are won or lost in the jury selection. Harold Price Farringer, a famous lawyer, he said, some experts believe that 85% of cases litigated are won or lost in the jury selection. If this is true, what does that mean? It is almost impossible, in my opinion, for a Muslim to get a fair trial in America. Why? If human beings are filled with bias and prejudice, even when you mean well, imagine you're deliberating, and while you're deliberating, you're thinking about 9/11. You're thinking about ISIS. You're thinking about Boko Haram. You're thinking about the London Marathon bomber. All of those things are in your mind. And right now, I want every one of you to make a supplication for a group that were convicted years ago. The Holy Land Foundation. Some brothers as many as 65 years in prison. The government admitted that they never gave support to Hamas directly. The government admitted that they spent money on orphans, and the government admitted that they spent money on hospitals. But they said because this organization spent money on these groups, then it made the people love Hamas more. One of the worst cases I've ever seen in my entire life. So brothers and sisters, we need someone advocating for us. Did you know, if you ask the average African American, who are the greatest heroes of this time, almost 99% of them will say Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't loved because he was a Christian. Malcolm X wasn't loved because he was a Muslim. They were loved and respected because of what they did. They met only once in their lives, March 26, 1964. And you know why they met? They met in Washington, D.C. for 1 minute. And you know why they met? They were there to witness the Senate debates for this landmark decision, the Civil Rights Bill or Act of 1964. What did it do? I am amazed that at this time there are still some Muslims that wouldn't vote. I want to remind you that in 1963, an area called Dallas, Alabama, and they had 57% of the population were African Americans, but only 130 of them were registered to vote out of 15,000. Why is that? You have to understand history to know that there were literacy tests for black people. And you had to pass these tests in order for you to have the right to vote. And I'll just give you one question that they asked them. How many bubbles in a bar of soap? Can you imagine that? So when this legislation was passed, over 9,000 black people were registered to vote, and they got out of office all those who discriminated against them. We must do the same thing. People are real. There are people who don't want Muslims in our society. They don't want us here. They want all of us to go. Even me, I'm born in America. I'm born in Brooklyn, and they want me to go back home. I will go back home in Brooklyn. So brothers and sisters, CAIR is more important than that you can ever imagine. We want to raise tonight $250,000. Nihad, I don't always recommend movies. I know none of you have ever seen any movie of your life. None of you watch TV, I know that. But there is one movie that I recommend everyone see, and Nihad, I'm going to check with you to see if you watched it. It was a movie that came out in 1957 entitled 12 Angry Men. It's a wonderful movie. Why was it so great? This movie took place in one area. 12 jurors deliberating about the fate of a young 18-year-old Latino man accused of murdering his father. From the very beginning, 11 of the jurors said that he's guilty. These jurors didn't even have a name. They were called juror number 1, juror number 2, juror number 3. And the star of the movie, Henry Fonda, juror number 8, the only man that had doubts, the only man that talked to these other jurors and said that we need to consider these facts. There's a lot of doubt. And one by one, he changed all of their thinking until 12 of them acquitted him because of reasonable doubt. I think that CAIR is juror number 8. CAIR is the one that will change. Wallahi, I believe this. Listen, man, let me tell you something. You see, this $1,000 don't mean anything to you because you don't know what it means for me. See, when you have a whole lot of money, $1,000 is a little bit. For me, $1,000 is a lot. So I'm asking you tonight to support CAIR. I thought it would be befitting that someone in this historic meeting tonight, I thought it would be historic if one of you say, you know what, I'm going to give, since Imam Siraj gave $1,000, I'm going to give $1,000 for every year that CAIR has been in existence here. So if CAIR has been in existence for 20 years, I'm going to give $20,000. I would love to see one of you, 2 of you, 3 of you, 4 of you, even 5 of you who say, you know what? I support what they're doing. CAIR is doing some wonderful work. Let me now be involved. Martin Luther King Jr. is gone. Malcolm is gone. Medgar Evers is gone. Gone are those civil rights fighters of the past. But today we have